run a multi-threading campaign on the weekend that works with SmartLead. It works with Instantly. You can do whatever you'd like. And I really like this. If you are reaching out to, say you're reaching out to the VP of sales at a company and they're not responding, you can reach out to the CEO at the company instead. And so this isn't the exact template that we're using just because I really can't show that for confidential reasons, but this is mainly how the template would work. I'm only going to show how we're doing it in Clay because I always get scared showing my SmartLead account and accidentally letting an API key slip or something like that, but you'll get the gist of everything. And so what we can do here, and so basically what I want to achieve in this campaign is I want to email the VP of sales. And if the VP of sales does not respond to me every weekend, I want to send an email to the CEO. So basically, if I say we're running, I don't know. We're running a campaign right now, basically, where we are saying, hey, we can help you run advertisements to your competitors. So anytime a competitor anytime a user goes to your competitor's website, we can help you run ads to those people. We're reaching out to the VPs of sales and the chief marketing officers of these companies because they are the ones who mostly take action. The companies are too big to really reach out to the CEOs. They're like 50 to 150. So we could reach out to the CEOs and you'll see what I mean. So this is basically a no-brainer offer. Who wouldn't want to do that? And so what we're doing with the weekend campaign is we're reaching out to the CEOs and we're getting great results where we're saying, hey, I reached out to Brian on Tuesday about being able to capture all of the people who are visiting Gymshark's site. Is that really not something you guys would be interested in? It doesn't matter if it's Gymshark's site. We can do anybody's site. But is that really not something you'd want to be interested in? A couple things here. One, I think sometimes there is a lot of political capital that people use within a company to bring a new vendor in. And sometimes they just don't want to deal with going through their own company's buying process and sticking their neck out for a vendor and evaluating them and all those other things. And that's why they might not respond. But if the CEO sees it, they can start getting the internal movement going for it, right? And the other thing too is nobody is really automating this email, which is kind of funny because when I first started making these videos, people were like, stop telling people that. Too many people are going to do it. And I was like, no. Like, what are you talking about? No one's going to do this. And now I get people sending me cold emails using my strategies. And then I ask them if it's my strategy and they all say yes, which is mind blowing to me. But anyway. So nobody automates this email, and maybe a year from now, everyone's going to automate this email. But I hope you are one of the lucky subscribers of this channel, and you can take advantage of this before it gets to other people. But so basically, we're taking a no-brainer thing, and we're just like, hey, I just can't believe that they don't want to actually, hear about this. I reached out to Brian on Tuesday. He didn't get back to me, blah, blah, blah. And so generally the way that you make this happen is you have your original search here in Clay. You're going to do whatever, get your email addresses, do all that stuff. I didn't set all that up because you don't technically need it, but we put all this into one big workflow. And then what we do is we send a webhook from SmartLead. You can send a webhook from SmartLead anytime the first email is sent in a campaign. So then we know, and I just sent a test one so you can kind of see what it looks like. So then we know, okay, for sure we sent this person an email and I know when I sent it to them and all those other things. Then what we can do is as soon as we sent the first email for free, we could find the CEO, the founder, where is it? We can find the founder, CEO, chief executive, president, owner. We can find all those people and we can send them to another table for free, not using any Clay credits. And then we can push them to this Clay table and we can now enrich all these people for their email addresses and all of those other things, right? And so this is the way the workflow works. This original search, you push this to SmartLead. And then whenever SmartLead sends the first email to these people, you send that webhook here. After you get the data of when you sent the first email to these people, then you find the CEOs, the owners, and whoever it might be, and you push them here. Now, a couple things to think about is you want to do a lookup into your original search to just make sure you haven't already emailed them before, because that would be terrible and this whole play would collapse. The other thing that I haven't done in this workbook, I would add another webhook here and I would monitor for all replies. And so I guess out of offices would technically slip through this, but that's just, you got to let the cookies crumble. I mean, you can improve it. You could have AI evaluate it. You could trust SmartLead's lead category updates and things like that. I would add another webhook for all replies. So you're going to do a lookup for is the CEO accidentally on our original search, of which we've already emailed them? You could even look it up in the SmartLead campaign too. You can use a SmartLead integration here to just look up if the lead exists in the other SmartLead campaign. That's probably the better way to do it. You should probably do that. And then you can do a lookup into the email reply table as well too, to see if you've already gotten a reply from this email address, or you got a reply from the domain, so you don't actually reach out to them at all anymore. And now you're covering your bases, because the only way this campaign, not the only way, but biggest ways this campaign could go wrong is the person actually did respond to you and it doesn't make sense, and you already accidentally reached out to the CEO for some other reason somehow, right? And so again, quick synopsis: take your original search, send these people to SmartLead. Make a webhook. Every time first email sent is here, send it back to here, so you can kick off a CEO search. Set up another webhook, which I'm not showing right now, for every email reply, so that you can do not send emails to the CEO that somebody from their team has already responded in some way. And then you have your CEO thing. Now, when you push all these people, don't push them to the same SmartLead campaign, because that SmartLead campaign is sending Monday to Friday. Send them to a different SmartLead campaign where there you can actually get a little fancy, and you can pretend to forward the email that you sent to the VP of sales, because you have all the copy, right? You built all the copy inside of Clay. And what you can do is then you can put the date in as a custom variable, because you have the date, right? You have the date right here of when you sent it. You could totally fake that email forward and then send it to them and say to the CEO, hey, I sent this to Brian the other day. Is it real? And you can even make the subject line, I sent this email to Brian, or checking in with Brian, or any of these things, and say, is this really not a thing? I can stop bothering your whole company right now if this is really not something that you need to be worried about. We are both getting positive responses from the VPs of sales and the chief marketing officers and the CEOs on this campaign. And it's like a really fun campaign to be running. I'm not saying that you should do this for every customer, because I think it has to really be a no-brainer offer. Because like if I were a CEO and somebody on my team got an email about targeting our competitors' traffic, I would want them to look into that. That's a big thing I want them to be looking into, right? Rising ad costs, retargeting is way cheaper than net new audiences. Custom audiences, if they're large enough, can be cheap, right? So anyway, this is just a workflow thing that I think if you're good at Clay, you have all of the knowledge to be able to do this. I just wanted you to know that it's possible. You just need to wrap your brain around how to do it. But yeah, another one of the fun ones here.